again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Focus Vandalia. My name is Rich Hopkins. I'm the communications manager for the city. And on today's program, we're going to give you some great advice to help you avoid becoming the victim of a car break-in. We'll also give you the latest on some road construction projects underway, and we've got some terrific news on the economic development front. But our first stop today is right here at this construction site. You know, in the spring, a lot of homeowners consider home improvement projects. One thing they may not consider are the necessary permits they need to get that project done.
Springtime, when a homeowner's fancy often turns to home improvement. But as you're putting together your to-do list, don't forget one important step in the process. Find out if your project will require a permit. Building Inspector Chris Mastrino says you may be surprised to learn which projects do.
Decks, sheds, pergolas, drive approaches, different things like that. Like say if you tie in a pergola to your existing structure, you would have to have that a building permit rather than a zoning permit. Sometimes some of these other structures, if they're less than 200 square feet, can be just a zoning permit only. And that's just more like a site plan showing where you're going to put it at.
The process for getting a permit is fairly straightforward. Submit an application, and in a short period of time, you should have that permit in hand.
For residential permits, it normally takes about a week and a half for review. Basically, you have to submit 2 sets of drawings, site plans, how you're going to build the structure, and that's about it. But we get that, we go run it through zoning to make sure it's going to meet the setbacks of the property lines and the houses and different things like that. But then we do a structural review on it, and then after that, normally about a week and a half, we ready to issue a permit.
Mastrino says the permit process really protects everyone involved. The homeowner can rest assured knowing the project is in compliance with city code, and the city knows that projects are being done according to standards. The end result is a safe and sound structure that will give you years of enjoyment.
I wish just homeowners would just call me. I mean, all of us up here. It's as simple as a question that asks us, do you need a permit or not? We're going to be honest with you. We're going to tell you yes or no. And then, like I say, if you do need to get a permit, we will tell you the process, and it's really painless. We try to keep it as painless as possible.
And from a painless process to a painful discovery, we do have a neighborhood alert to pass along this month. The Vandalia Division of Police says that with the weather allowing us all to get outdoors more often, criminals are taking advantage to hit the streets as well. The end result is an increase in the number of car break-ins occurring in the city.
We have seen an increase in car break-ins. It's mainly due to people, one, either keeping their doors unlocked, or two, keeping things valuable inside the car.
E-Step says there are some simple things you can do to make your car less attractive to the bad guys.
If you do have something valuable that you do want to keep in the car, make sure you at least put it in the truck or put it somewhere where it's hidden. It may reduce your chances of being broken into.
E-Step says some folks just don't think these break-in thefts can happen in their neighborhoods, so they don't take even the most basic steps to prevent them.
Oh yeah, they'll leave their car doors unlocked and sometimes even leave their keys inside the ignition. You can't do that anymore.
As crime prevention officer, E-Step says you can do a lot to help yourself and your neighbors just by paying attention to what's happening in your neighborhood.
The biggest thing that you can do is stay alert. Know what's going on in your neighborhood and know that we as the police department are here to help you. And by helping you, if you see something suspicious, don't be afraid to call. We'd rather come out on a suspicious person call and it be nothing at all than it turn into somebody becoming a victim.
And the final piece of the neighborhood safety puzzle involves joining a neighborhood watch program.
Another thing you can do is become a part of a neighborhood watch program. This program allows a lot of communication to be done between the police department and the citizens of the city of Vandalia. And information like car break-ins or burglaries is something that we make sure that we try to pass along. If we have a description of a person, we try to get that out as well. So the eyes of the neighborhood, people in the neighborhood can help us out in trying to stop these from occurring.
E-Step says this bears repeating. If you see something unusual taking place in your neighborhood, don't hesitate to call police and let them check it out. An area business is checking out Vandalia these days, considering the city for a consolidation project that could bring many jobs to town. Assistant City Manager Greg Shackelford says the company's not ready to talk publicly about their plans, but behind the scenes, they're giving Vandalia strong consideration for this major project.
They're looking at potentially 4 phases of construction. They got a lot over on Falls Creek that they're looking to purchase, which is about 16 acres. The most positive thing about this project is that it could potentially bring in over 300 employees to the city of Vandalia.
The company has at least 2 other locations that they would consolidate into this new facility.
There's a couple other cities that they would be bringing employees in from that would be about 265 that would come over right away that could start work. There's an opportunity for another 60 employees that they would create jobs for in the next 4 years. Very, very exciting for the city.
There's at least one other city in contention for this project, so Shackelford says Vandalia is looking at resources available to lure that firm here. Now, one of those resources is an EDGE grant, which is administered through Montgomery County. For this project, the company is asking for money to help offset the purchase price of the land involved.
These are dollars that are available anywhere in Montgomery County. To my knowledge, we're one of the few counties in the state that have this type of program available, which is certainly something that the county had looked at proactively several years ago, and we're hoping that this is something that continues, even with the tight budgets and budget constraints that the state's under right now. We're certainly hopeful that will be something that we'll continue to have.
The EDGE grant application has been filed, and the company hopes to have everything ironed out in time for a late summer or early fall groundbreaking.
Hopefully within a year they would get their first 3 phases of the project completed, which would include a manufacturing facility, a storage facility, and another area that they would use for inventory and supplies and so forth. But potentially right out of the gate we'd be looking at 250 to 265 employees.
And to wrap up our program this month, let's check in on some big road projects taking place in Vandalia. The project getting the most attention is a culvert replacement taking place on Dixie Drive at West Alkaline Springs Road. Public Works Manager Rob Cron says the toughest part of this project is behind them.
We probably have about 2/3 of the culvert installed now, but actually the hardest part of the project's over. We're under Dixie Drive, we're through all of the utility that we're going to be in conflict with it, so the project's moving right along, considering especially with the weather we've had.
Initial plans called for Dixie Drive to be closed at the scene of this project while that culvert was dug up and removed. But a last-minute change of plans kept the roadway open throughout the process.
Yeah, the traffic actually went really well through this. We were a little concerned with the road closure that was going to be in the midsummer, so the contractor actually came in with a proposal to use the temporary signals, which worked out really well. We had a lot of compliments and very few complaints, if any, on the traffic.
The last stretch of culvert to be replaced runs along West Alkaline Springs Road and will be replaced in the coming weeks. The project should be completely finished by the end of July. Another road project we've been following is on Delsing Drive, where a water main is being replaced and the road rebuilt. Cron says that project is right on schedule.
The Delsing Drive water main replacement has been completed. The contractor is now in the process of switching over the residents and businesses to the new line. Once that is completed, we'll start on coring out for the new street to be built.
They're building a new road from scratch at the Stone Quarry Crossings development. The road is being built to service a new distribution center being built for a company called Carter Logistics.
We're actually in the process now of having the roadway designed out west for the new Carter Express company that's coming to town. The new street will be off of Peters Pike.
Now, it may not look like much now, but this stony trail is going to be a city street in just a few months, servicing the new Carter Logistics. Now, one of the interesting questions that pops up when you're building a new street is what to call it. City Manager Rob Anderson held a contest with city employees. The winning entry was Capstone Way. That's going to do it for this edition of Focus Vandalia. I'm Rich Hopkins. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.